Hello, everyone. Silence is working. Right now, what's pulsing through the energetic stream is the power of your absence generating results. Someone reached out, called, texted, made some attempt at contact, and you didn't respond. You left it unanswered, and that non-response is creating more impact than any words could have created. The quiet is loud. The space is speaking. And what it's saying is registering on their end in ways that are about to shift everything. This unanswered call, this ignored message, it's strategic, even if you didn't plan it that way. What's filtering through the frequency is wisdom in your restraint. You could have picked up, could have responded immediately like you used to, could have made yourself available on their timeline. But something in you said, wait, said no, said not this time. And that intuitive pause is allowing something to develop. That immediate response would have prevented. Who's calling? Who made contact that you're not answering? What's radiating from the situation is someone from your past, most likely, an ex, someone who walked away, someone who took you for granted, someone who had access to you and abused that access, and now they're reaching out, testing waters, seeing if the door they closed is still open from your side, and your silence is answer they weren't expecting. Could be someone who hurt you, who betrayed trust. What's materializing is someone who caused damage and never properly addressed it, never apologized adequately, never took accountability, just disappeared or minimized or expected you to get over it, and now they're popping back up casual, like nothing happened, like the wound they created doesn't still exist. And your unanswered call is you refusing to pretend, refusing to make it easy, or someone who chose poorly, picked someone else. What's illuminating is someone who had you and decided you weren't enough, chose another person, another option, another path, and now something's shifted. That choice didn't work out how they imagined, and they're circling back, testing if you're still available, still interested, still willing to be second choice, and your silence is declaring you're not. Why are they calling now? What triggered this contact? What's surfacing in the field is realization hitting them. They're missing you. Not necessarily loving you, but missing what you provided, the attention, the support, the way you made them feel, the convenience of having you available, the safety of knowing you'd always pick up, always respond, always be there. And now you're not there. And that absence is creating void they're trying to fill by reaching back. Or they're lonely, bored. What's presenting is empty spaces in their life, making them remember you. Whoever they chose didn't work. Whatever kept them occupied ended, and you're familiar, you're safe, you're the person they know will probably respond because you always have. So they're reaching out from that place, not from genuine desire to reconcile properly, from convenience, from knowing you're a reliable source of attention when they need it. Or they heard something about you, saw something. What's decoding from the frequency is third-party information triggering contact. Someone mentioned you're doing well, looking good, seeing someone new, thriving without them. And that information created urgency, made them realize you're actually moving on, that the access they assumed was permanent might be closing. So They're reaching out to test to see if they still matter to you, to reassert presence before you forget them entirely. Why staying quiet is the right move. What silence accomplishes. What's unveiling itself is power dynamics shifting through non-response. Every time you answered immediately, you reinforced their assumption that you were always available, always accessible, that they could reach you whenever convenient for them, regardless of how they'd treated you. Your silence breaks that pattern, forces them to sit with uncertainty, with the possibility that they no longer have guaranteed access. And that uncertainty is disruptive, motivating, clarifying. Silence creates space for them to actually feel your absence, to recognize what they lost. What's manifesting is consequences landing. When you were always available, they didn't value you properly because access was unlimited. But silence creates scarcity, makes them realize you're not just sitting around waiting for their call, that you have life, have options, have boundaries now. And that realization can shift how they see you, can shift how they approach you, can shift whether they're willing to actually do the work required to restore connection properly. Silence protects you from premature reconciliation, from accepting crumbs. What's crystallizing is restraint preventing regression. If you'd answered immediately, you'd be having a conversation before knowing their true intention, before understanding what they actually want, before seeing if they're willing to address what caused the distance in the first place. Your silence forces them to try harder, to show more, to prove they're serious rather than just testing if you're still available for their convenience. Silence reveals their character, their persistence level. What's emerging is behavior patterns becoming visible through sustained observation. Do they call once and disappear when you don't answer immediately? That shows they weren't that serious, that it was casual inquiry. Or do they persist? Keep trying, show actual effort, leave thoughtful messages. That shows genuine desire to reconnect. Your silence separates casual curiosity from actual investment. How long should you stay quiet? What's the timeline here? What's radiating from the guidance is there's no universal answer. This isn't game playing with arbitrary rules. This is you taking time to assess, to feel in to whether responding serves you, to see what develops. Stay quiet until you're actually clear on what you want, until you know if you're interested in reconciliation, until you've observed their behavior long enough to determine if they're serious or just bored. Stay quiet until they demonstrate understanding of what they did wrong. What's presenting is accountability being prerequisite to re-engagement. If their messages are casual, surface level, hey stranger energy, without addressing why there's distance in the first place, stay quiet. That shows they're not ready for real conversation. They're testing if you'll let things slide, if you'll pretend nothing happened. Your continued silence communicates that casual re-entry isn't available, that addressing the past is required for accessing the present. Stay quiet until you feel genuinely ready, not pressured. What's illuminating is your timeline mattering more than their impatience. They don't get to decide when reconciliation happens. They don't get to reach out after however long and demand immediate response. You were the one hurt. You're the one who gets to control the pace of re-engagement if it happens at all. Don't let their reaching out pressure you into responding before you're emotionally prepared to handle whatever comes from that conversation. What's happening on their end during your silence, how they're processing the non-response. What's decoding is confusion initially. They expected you to answer. You always answered before. So the unanswered call creates question mark, makes them wonder what changed. If you saw the call and chose not to answer, or if you genuinely missed it. That uncertainty is uncomfortable, keeps you on their mind in ways immediate response never would. Then comes escalation potentially. More attempts at contact. What's surfacing is intensified effort when initial attempts fail. They might call again. Text more, try different channels, not because they've suddenly fallen in love with you, but because your unavailability triggered chase instinct, made you interesting again, made you the challenge they need to overcome. This escalation isn't necessarily genuine. It's often ego-driven. They're not used to being ignored by you, or they withdraw, give up easily. What's revealing itself is minimal investment, indicating shallow interest. If one unanswered call makes them disappear, that tells you everything. They weren't serious, weren't willing to work for it, were just checking if you were still easily accessible, and when you proved you weren't, they moved on, which actually saves you time. Saves you from wasting energy on someone who wasn't genuinely interested in reconciliation, or they start processing, actually thinking. What's materializing is reflection happening in the space you created. Your silence forces them to sit with themselves, with what they did, with what they lost, with who you actually are versus who they reduced you to. And that reflection can create genuine shift, can create actual remorse, can create willingness to do the work rather than expecting easy re-entry. But that processing takes time, which is why your continued silence serves. What should you do when you finally respond? If you decide to respond, what's presenting is clarity being essential up front. Don't just slide into casual conversation pretending nothing happened. Address the elephant immediately. I saw you called. I needed time before responding. Set tone that this isn't business as usual, that your silence was intentional, that re-engagement requires addressing what created distance. Don't let them dictate the terms of reconnection. Ask what they actually want directly. What's crystallizing is requiring explicit intention. What's the reason for reaching out? Make them state their purpose. Make them be clear about what they're seeking. Are they apologizing, wanting closure, testing if you're available, genuinely wanting to rebuild? Don't assume, don't fill in blanks charitably. Make them use their words. Their answer tells you how to proceed. Set boundaries immediately if you engage. From the first exchange, what's radiating is establishing standards early. If their approach is casual and yours is requiring accountability, state that. Before we continue talking, I need acknowledgement of what happened between us. Don't skip steps. Don't make it easy. If they're serious about reconciliation, they'll meet the boundary. If they resist or minimize, that tells you they're not ready for real reconnection. Watch their reaction to your delay, to the fact that you didn't answer immediately. What's unveiling is response to your boundary revealing character. Do they respect that you needed time, or do they complain, act entitled to immediate access, get angry that you left them hanging? Their reaction to your very reasonable pause shows you whether they've actually grown or if they still believe your availability is their right. That information is valuable. What if you decide not to respond at all? Ever? What's presenting is that being completely valid option. You're not obligated to respond, not obligated to give closure, not obligated to explain, not obligated to give them another chance just because they decided they want one. If your gut says stay silent permanently, honor that. Your continued silence is answer. It communicates that whatever window existed has closed, that you've moved on, that access is no longer available, and that's your right. Permanent silence is mercy sometimes. For both of you, what's emerging is clean breaks serving healing better than messy re-engagements. Responding opens door to potentially repeating old patterns, to getting pulled back into dynamics that didn't serve you, to giving someone another opportunity to disappoint. Sometimes the kindest thing for everyone is letting the silence remain, letting the relationship stay concluded, letting the past stay past. What the energetic guidance wants you to comprehend. Your silence is powerful, more powerful than you realize. It's not passive, it's active boundary, it's communication. It's you valuing yourself enough to require more than casual re-entry, to demand actual accountability, to refuse to make reconciliation easy for someone who made hurting you easy. That unanswered call is your power reclaimed. It's you no longer being available on someone else's timeline, no longer responding just because they decided to reach out, no longer prioritizing their comfort over your healing. Every moment you stay quiet is moment you're choosing yourself, protecting yourself, honoring yourself. And that self-honoring is creating shift in the dynamic, whether they recognize it yet or not. Stay quiet. Keep waiting. Watch what develops. See what they do when access isn't automatic. See if they're willing to work for it. See if they actually address what needs addressing. And when you're ready, if you're ready, you'll know what to do. Until then, let the silence teach them what your words couldn't.